Let's take a look at some political stories now. And Yusuf Babangida, one of the closest political allies of the presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Kwankwaso, has rejoined the All Progressives Congress ahead of the forthcoming 2023 polls. Babangida, who is a lawmaker representing Gwale local government area in Kano State House of Assembly, previously belonged to the NNPP before rejoining the APC. Announcing his resignation from the NNPP in the letter addressed to the party chairman, well, he says his decision to leave the party was motivated by the NNPP's flagrant contempt for internal democracy. Let's now discuss some politics with Mahmud, Jega, Arise News analyst. Mahmud, thank you so much for being here tonight. And of course, let's start with defections. This is not new to our politics. The mass movement from one political party to another. But the issue now is the elections are really, really close. We're talking less than 2 months away. And the concerns that some party members are raising, especially with foundational members of political parties, especially at the grassroots, defecting, what sort of impact do you think this would have on political parties and their result at the end of the day?
Well, you see, because of all the realignments that have taken place since the end of the party primaries, some people moved because they probably lost nominations in some parties, they defected to others. That brings up the issue of this thing about foundational members, like in Cross River State that we are talking about. The governor defected from PDP and came to APC. Now there are people there when he came. But as you can expect, a whole governor came with the whole machinery of state, with commissioners, with other people. So he is bound, to dominate and take over. And the people that he found there will not be happy. But the answer, of course, he will give them either you were there before I came, what did you do? You didn't win election, the party was not in power, so how can you be aggrieved by my coming? This is the way politicians will see it. But all over the place, where major politicians lost nominations in especially the major parties, and then they moved to the smaller parties, where they found some people, this kind of accusation is bound to happen. There's almost nothing you can do about it.
But what I was asking about, sorry Christian, the question I was asking about is the impact of such defections on political parties and their fortune in the forthcoming polls.
Yeah. Well, it varies from one situation to another and one state to another. Some parties have been strengthened in some states by the coming of some defectors.
Absolutely.
And some parties have been weakened by the defection of some people. Even though some parties probably in some states were stabilized actually by the defection of some people. There are some people who are troublemakers, noisemakers, and when they go, possibly it even helps the party to consolidate.
But how do you reconcile the situation in Kano State, the New Nigeria People's Party, the Kwakwansia adherents and close allies coming in and going out? Take, for example, his close friend from Gwale local government area, Shekarau started with him. Shekarau is back, to the PDP, where he thinks he belongs to, and the rest. I mean,
and this man is going
the topsy-turvy here. How do you reconcile it in such political chestnut game?
One of the problems is that some of these politicians, they calculate the chances of victory. Not just some. I mean, most politicians, that's what they do. And really, if they feel maybe their party is not gaining very serious traction in the election, they are likely to run to a place where they thought might be better. Although in the case of the NNPP, one can say probably their major political aim in the 2023 election is to win the governorship of Kano. It looks like that. I don't think they are seriously. You don't
feel their impact at the national level? I mean, campaigning with the sagacity of their presidential candidates and even the vice presidential candidates. Very knowledgeable men.
Knowledgeable, charismatic, hardworking, dynamic, everything. But overall, the party is considered one of the 4 major parties in the country right now. But seriously, I don't
What is missing? What is missing, Mahmud?
It does not have very solid structures in many states.
Oh, structure
especially in southern states.
Yeah. Right. Well, when you talk about structures, that was the first accusation that went in the direction of Peter Obi, but I guess that people are changing their minds right now concerning that whole issue of structure.
The narrative has
about
changed,
structure.
yeah.
But Mahmoud, while we still are on the issue of campaigns and the likes, the fact that we're seeing a lot of mudslinging from especially major political parties against each other. But some Nigerians would say that is not what we want to hear. We're more concerned about your plans for us. For you, who's the political observer, what is your general assessment of the campaigns so far, especially at the presidential level?
I think this year's election cycle was actually, in terms of debating policy issues and presenting manifestos, is actually an improvement over previous election cycles, I think. But it's not yet, it has not yet met our expectations, in terms of forecasting. There is still a lot of mudslinging and all that. And, the politicians on the ground, they will tell you that the way you do political rallies here, if you climb the rostrum with thousands of people shouting and waving flags, it is not the time for any manifesto. You just shout the name of your party, they say whether it's power or anything, I raise you. A mass rally in this our environment is not the place to discuss the educational plan or anything, but the town hall format.
Which started, and of course
they have started in this election cycle.
We shall continue.
That's why I said there has been an improvement, because during this election cycle we have seen a lot of these town hall formats, which are smaller, inside a hall, and especially if the audience is specialized, like if it's business community or it's labor or it's students or it's youth, then you can now discuss your specific policy agenda towards that particular focus group. But mass open air rally, which kind of education, you just shout some slogans
and a lot of drumming and dancing and the rest. That seems to pervade such rallies. But the issue of Nigeria's 77 trillion naira debt, that the winner, he who becomes the president from May 29th, is going to inherit. The presidential candidates are not telling us how they are going to do this. What we hear is that, look, we're going to boost the economy, we are going to, secure the lives of Nigerians. They are not telling us how are they going to do this? What magic wands, what socio-economic regenerations or revolutionization that they are going to bring?
Because this $77 trillion debt, it's not just the next president, even the one that will come after the next one will still be facing this problem. But there is still time. Luckily, we still have some weeks, and the media should be able to make, especially the major presidential candidates, to say something specifically about their plan for this, because it's like a sword of Damocles hanging over.
Absolutely.
Yes,
and the campaigns definitely is expected to pick up in the coming days and weeks, because of course we're counting down to weeks to the elections. And you saw one of the spokesperson of the PDP, or a media strategist, Dele Momodu, is actually taking a swipe at the APC candidate. He's saying the campaign is too weak. That's why we're not seeing, major leaders in the party really take part. Although the APC has just released a list that President Muhammadu Buhari will join the campaign trail in the coming days and visit about 9 or 10 states across the country. But at the end of the day, this campaigns now, as it goes into the next level, let me use that word, what should Nigerians be really looking out for to see how serious these political parties who are vying for the highest office in the land are?
We should ask for less mudslinging and more concentration on the major issues that we expect will be facing us. The issue of, as you said, whether some members of the party are campaigning for it is actually, shouldn't be of concern to the ordinary voter. But what a candidate program is for insecurity and, as we said, education and power and this huge debt that is dangling over our heads. This should be the issue that we should concentrate, and especially if the candidates go ahead with the town format style. What I expect is the major civil society organizations in the country, like labor, also the business community, students, and other specialized groups, should organize town hall meetings and get these candidates to speak, because that is how you will get them to address the specific concern of that sector. Otherwise, if you just leave them and they go and do mass rallies, honestly, they are not going to address any serious issues there.
Okay, very quickly, Mahmud, I'm worried that, you know, Nigerians just keep talking about the four leading parties or front runners and the rest, you know, and they're not talking about the other 14. And apart from maybe the likes of the presidential candidates of the AAC, that is the African Action Congress, led by Showore, maybe the SDP, you know, by what's his name, Adewale, the lawyer, and the ADP, I think, is that Sani Yabaji or so. We hardly hear of others. Why is this so? Why do they come into a race they know they cannot even be on their marks, not to talk of having a goal?
Okay, Christian, many people do not know that nearly 200 people contested the American presidential election. Yeah. Exactly, but you only hear Democrats and Republicans. The media does not waste its time. There are occasions when you have major third-party candidates, like Rose Perot in 1996, I think John Anderson in 1980, and then there used to be George Wallace in the 60s and early 70s. When you have a major candidate, because their own is mostly based on opinion polls. If they see in the opinion polls that you are getting like 10% or more, then the media will now begin to pay attention
around you.
To you. Now we have 18 candidates. Although you wrote off the issue of structure, but it is still an important issue. Many of these parties, they have presidential candidates, but they don't have any gubernatorial candidate, any senatorial, no House of Rep, no state assembly candidate, no functional executives or offices in various states. Why should the media devote a lot of time?
Mahmud, Jega, Arise News analyst, we have to say thank you so much for joining us tonight on the program.